Is the Champion wood chipper actually any good? What's going on? It's Samantha from 40 Acres of Clueless, the channel where we figure things out one project at a time. And today the project that I'm helping you figure out is whether or not you should consider the Champion 3-inch wood chipper shredder. I've owned this machine for the past 2 years, so the video today is going to be more of a long-term usage review. Sometimes when you watch a video, you see somebody put something together and use it for the first time and then proclaim, oh, it works great, you should buy this. That's not what this video is. I've actually used this machine quite a bit, and it's been the primary source of mulch production, actually the only source of mulch production on the farm for the last couple of years. So stay tuned to the end of the video to find out if I would purchase this unit again. So we're going to start with some basic terminology so that you and I are both starting from the same place in terms of understanding this machine. This is a 3-inch wood chipper shredder, meaning that it chips and shreds material, and hence the two different hoppers. The front hopper is the wood chipper hopper, and it can accommodate material up to 3 inches in diameter. The top hopper is the shredder hopper, and it can accommodate material up to 1.5 inches in diameter. So if it's bigger than 1.5 inches in diameter, the best bet is to put it through the front hopper to be chipped rather than shredded. Now, things that can go into the top hopper are commonly lawn debris, grass clippings, leaves, and some lighter, brushier material that you might find from trees, like pine boughs and things like that. Your hardwoods, your branches, and more of your sticks are going to go into the wood chipper to be chipped rather than be shredded. If you take a look at the back of the unit, you'll see this cylindrical housing here, and this houses the flywheel that has 2 blades that chip the material that's put through the front chipper hopper. This unit also contains a 15-inch shredding blade, as well as 6 shredding hammers that will shred material that's put through the top hopper. The engine is a Champion 224cc gas OHV engine. It has a gas tank with a level indicator to tell you how much gas is in the tank before you roll out to do your project. And it will hold up to 0.92 of a gallon. So it's got a pretty decent sized gas tank. This machine takes 10W30 engine oil and will hold up to 0.63 of a quarts of oil. I also like that the gas cap is tethered to the tank, so that way you don't drop it in the snow or misplace it. And it's pretty easy to thread. You just put it on like that and it snaps into place. If you guys are getting value out of this video so far, a small thing you can do to help the channel is to tap that like button. It's a small action that makes a big impact in helping this video spread to more people. Appreciate it. Having these 2 tools with you when you go to start the chipping process is going to make your life so much easier when you're using the Champion 3-inch wood chipper shredder. The tools I use is this. This is a small electric chainsaw, and then I also use a pair of pruning shears. And the reason that you want to have these things on hand is because it's actually best to kind of pre-stage your branches ahead of time. If there are any sharp curves in those branches, you definitely want to use either a chainsaw or pruning shears to cut those curves down into as straight of sections as you can get. If it's kind of a gradual curve, like in a pine bough or something, that's fine because you can kind of gradually feed that curve in and it'll accept it no problem. But when there's sharp, jagged curves, the machine just doesn't like it. The front hopper won't accommodate it, and when you start to try to shove material that's larger than 1.5 inches in diameter through the shredder top, you're just risking damaging the machine and having material blown back at you, so it can be kind of dangerous. So I definitely recommend stage your wood first. It takes a little bit of time to get ready to start chipping, but once you fire the machine on, you'll be operating on all cylinders. Now, these are safety features, and they're really annoying, which is why I immediately took them off of my unit. I used it for the first couple of times with these safety flaps on there, and they just impeded the efficiency so badly that I opted to remove them. This one is for the top hopper, and you'll notice it's really, really thick rubber, and it doesn't really like to bend. So if you imagine this installs here at the top. You have leaves, lawn debris, small little branches, brushy material feeding into this top shredder hopper. It doesn't actually have enough weight to be able to displace these rubber fingers to be able to get down into the chute to be shredded. This is the secondary safety feature, and this safety feature goes over the front wood chipper hopper, and it has the same problem where it's a material that is pretty stiff and difficult to move. But the bigger problem with this is that when this is on here like so, it occludes your ability to be able to see the angle of this narrow part of the shaft here. So if your branch is a little bit curvy, it tends to kind of get stuck in this hopper. So by removing this, it allows you to see where the obstruction is, and sometimes you could just kind of turn or adjust the angle of the branch and whoop, it takes it and sucks it right up and chips it, no problem. But with having this on it, it was a total pain in the butt. So it's up to you, of course. Safety is always paramount, but I think this is super annoying, and I opted just to wear some safety goggles, and so far I've been fine with just that. The chips are discharged from this chute here, and there are two adjustment knobs where you can bring the chute all the way down, which I'm not exactly sure why you would want it down that way, maybe to save a little bit of space during storage, or you can redirect it up to about this angle. That is the maximum distance that this is able to push the projectiles away from the machine. It comes with this collection bag, and the collection bag is designed to go right over top of this chute and hook on like so, so that the material will be collected in this bag. This bag will hold up to 2 bushels of material, and it has a zipper on the end. So once it is full, you pull the draw cord, take it off, and then transport it to the destination of choice, unzip the bottom, and dump the material into either a wheelbarrow, wagon, or trailer. So we're going to get ready to put this puppy to work. Put on this collection bag. Which this collection bag, to be honest, is kind of hokey. The collection bag and the angle of the chute, where the discharge chute, where the stuff comes out, are my 2 least favorite features about this chipper. Just kind of a pain in the butt to deal with. Now, before you fire this thing on, you're going to need hearing protection. If you don't have any, order some. I'll put links in the description below. This is a real cheap set. It's like 20 or 25 bucks. It's from 3M. If you don't have hearing protection, your hearing will be damaged. This is a very, very loud machine, so this is a necessity. Make sure you have it. Don't run it without it. And then the other thing you're going to want to have is safety goggles. Safety goggles of any description are totally fine. You don't want to get any projectiles in your eyes, especially if you opt to take off the safety features like I have. There is going to be some material that gets shot out of this top shredder hopper, especially. That's where most of the discharge comes when you remove the safety features. So be safe. The other thing that you want to have is a pair of gloves. I just use these old gloves because sometimes it tends to kind of pull the material out of your hands, and it's kind of a glove wrecker. So if you have an old beat up pair of gloves, that's probably the best bet, unless you know, are taking out stock in Lamont or something. So we'll get this guy fired on. I like to keep the hearing protection off just when I initially start it, just to make sure that she's gonna start. So I got the choke on, the gas on. This thing hasn't been started for a couple months, so we'll see how it goes. This machine is pretty heavy because when you're pulling it, you have to get that whole flywheel engaged, and there's a tendency to kind of pull the machine when you go to start it. So I actually have to kind of brace it and make sure you turn it on. I've made this mistake more than once. Flick that to on, or else you'll pull and nothing's gonna happen. All right. Come on. See how the machine wants to migrate on you? You have to kind of brace it. Okay. So you pull it out until it becomes taut, and then that's when you give her. So you saw I had to get the pruning shears out here just to cut those little nubs off of the branches that were going in here. So this will accommodate material up to 3 inches in diameter if it is perfectly straight. If there's any variation in there, then it has a tendency to get stuck, as you saw, which isn't a big deal. As long as you keep these close by, you can snip it up and then throw it through in smaller sections. It's a little bit more irritating to deal with that way, but I think honestly, instead of advertising it as a 3-inch chipper, it was reliably a 2-inch chipper to 2.5-inch chipper, because that way it gives you that little bit of leeway when you're feeding material in there. So keep that in mind when you're looking at this model, that it will chip 3 inches, but it better be pretty straight if you're going to get that 3-inch girth through this chute. This is the consistency of the chips. It makes beautiful chips. These chips are perfect. They break down super fast. They work great as mulch in your flower beds. They're awesome. But one of the problems is this drawstring. It just kind of does a crappy job of keeping everything in the bag. So you can see this bag is really not all that full, but it's spewing the chips everywhere. So you have to dump the bag and kind of start over again, which can be time consuming, quite honestly, but it does make absolutely beautiful chips. Just look at those. So what is my long-term use opinion of the Champion 3-inch wood chipper shredder? Well, it is a great machine. The engine starts every single time. You might have to pull it 4 or 5 times because it's a heavy pull start. If you've got a shoulder injury or you've got weak upper extremity, get yourself some dumbbells and start working out, because you're going to need to build some strength to be able to start this machine. But it does start reliably every single time, even when it's been sitting for a very long time unattended. It always is reliable. The engine maintenance is also extremely easy. It's easy to change the oil, to add more oil, to change the air filter, and perform other regular maintenance. The blades are easy to access from the back of the machine. Just through some bolts, you take that cover off and you can easily sharpen those blades, which I do recommend that you do so annually if you're going to purchase this machine. So what are some of the things that I don't like about it? It's a pain in the butt to use. I don't like that you can't redirect the discharge chute to shoot the chips in a certain direction to kind of make a pile of chips that you can come back to later with a shovel and load up into a trailer, or even direct them right into a trailer or a wagon or something. That would be super, super handy. The collection bag that is designed for use with this chipper is just garbage. You can see it spills chips all over the place. There is a tendency for that bag to become damaged because projectiles are flying out of that discharge chute very rapidly, and they have sharp edges. And especially if you put material through the shredder hopper that is too large, it tends to make things kind of stringy, and it'll just tear up your bag. You can buy replacement bags. They're about 25 bucks on Amazon, but still, I don't want to have to buy a new bag every single year. The other thing that I don't like is the hopper that's on the front here. It has a 3-inch diameter, and you can measure that is 3 inches. However, because the hopper cylinder itself is so long, it doesn't accommodate or give any leeway for irregular shaped material. So if your branch is completely straight, it sucks it up and it shreds it beautifully. But if there's little nubs that stick out off the side of it, or little bumps or slight curvatures you saw in the video, it tends to kind of get stuck, and then you have to use your pruners or a chainsaw to kind of get everything ready beforehand. So there's a lot of kind of messing around with the material that you have to do before you even start chipping, and then once you do start chipping, you still have to stop and get the pruners out to keep material flowing rapidly through the machine. This chipper shredder works great for your average homeowner. Maybe you own 1 or 2 partially wooded acres. You'd like to have something that you can put your grass clippings through, your leaves through in the fall to be able to mulch those down because maybe you don't want to burn them. Maybe you want something that when you do your pruning in the spring, you can have debris piles like the one behind me and you can put that into mulch and put it in the woods or put it in your flower beds. If you're doing things on a small scale, on a small property, this machine's perfect, right? It gets the job done, it makes beautiful chips, it starts reliably, and it functions really well. But if you're wanting to make a massive amount of wood chips, this is not the machine for you. If you want to have something where you can direct the chips to a certain location with a chute, this machine is not for you. In fact, I have tried to build a directional chute for this machine, and I did, and it worked for a period of time, and then eventually, well, you'll have to watch that video to find out what happened to that. But would I purchase this chipper again? The answer is no, I would not. Everyone who has used this machine kind of despises using it. It's not a fun job. Generally on the farm, we love doing wood chores. We love to cut wood, split wood, stack wood, but making wood chips with this thing is the one job that pretty much everybody despises. And in fact, just a few weeks ago, I actually upgraded this wood chipper shredder to a large towable wood chipper shredder. It is the DK2 6-inch wood chipper shredder, and I've only used it one time because it's been winter and it's just been kind of a nasty weather until today, but I am really thinking that that's going to be a lot better suited to my needs. I own 40 acres, about 35 of which is wooded. So this little machine is just not enough machine for the farm that we have and the wood projects that we like to do. But for your average homeowner that owns 1 to 2 acres, that's partially wooded or wooded, this wood chipper is going to do great to take care of any fallen limbs that come down in the spring that are around your yard. Go ahead, gather them up, put them in a little brush pile, fire this puppy on. It's going to make some beautiful mulch for you. Maybe you can put it around the base of one of your trees or something and decorate with it. You'll be real happy with it. But if you own any more than about 2 acres, you're going to want to look at getting a bigger machine, because ultimately this one is just not going to be enough machine for you. Now, if you're still on the fence about wondering whether or not you should buy this wood chipper, I want you to click on these videos right over here. It's going to showcase us using it a bunch of times, and that way it'll give you a better idea of how this thing really performs. Subscribe before you go. We'll see you on the next one.